RTD Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. We are live for a live stream midweek, Wednesday night, the 16th day of the month of December. Excited to be back. Of course, running a little bit late, trying to wrap up some things on my end last minute. So here we are. Excited to be back. I hope everyone's doing well. Give it a second before we dive into it. A lot of things worth talking about. And also curious to find out what else is on your mind and what else is going on out there that I may not have come across today. So give it a second, and then I'd love to check in. Any new viewers, feel free to let me know where you're watching from, and then we'll definitely move right along. But a lot of, relatively speaking, all-time highs. I think the S&P is at all-time high. Of course, we got Bitcoin making a run today, as well as gold and silver doing a little bit higher. And so I guess Jerome Powell didn't do a good job of, or maybe he did do a good job as to what he was looking to do as far as his plea for help. Because clearly the Federal Reserve is fighting deflation in a sense that a lot of insolvency out there, a lot of debt not being paid back, and more pressure on the economy as the retail sector, of course, didn't do well as they thought it should have last month. And, November was, Good Friday and all that other stuff. So it was a holiday month and sales were down a little bit. So December might be even worse, but we will dive into that. So let me check in real quick. It said we got Africa First News Channel. Appreciate you, my friend, for tuning in. We got Solo in the building. Okay, I see BTC hit 20K, 21K, and 22K today. Okay, I didn't realize it got it to 22. I just saw it around 21. Mr. Darrell, how you doing, my friend? It says, Mike, make sure you mention the Discord server so we all have a spot to meet up should YouTube give way. Good point. I will definitely bring that up tonight as well. Appreciate you. Florida Princess in the building. We got Jordan. We got V massive Bitcoin booming. Wall Street all-time high with non-existent economy. Dr. Moda, very true. Very true. After hearing Jerome Powell today and his continuation, he's continually pleading Congress to get their act together. And so you kind of wonders, like, is he really out here in a sense, insisting and really trying to encourage Congress to get it together? Or is that just a part of his narrative and a part of the game that they're all playing, trying to show that they actually care about the people and things of that nature, when actuality, everything is designed to prop up and keep the banking sector going strong, even though he mentioned the banking sector being a source of strength during all this. And how can they be a source of strength when they're the ones ultimately taking the biggest blow when it comes to all the mortgage situations, as well as all the credit card loans and default and all the credit extension that they put out there right now is not being paid, or beginning of 2021 will definitely not be paid, as well as probably more than a fair share of bankruptcies is coming. So yeah, I'm not quite sure how the bank is leading the way in strength, but that's just Jerome Powell doing what he do. Jawbone in the markets. But he mentioned forward guidance in a sense of being able to continue to tell that it looks like they're going to be buying anything they can for the foreseeable future, which of course was not good news for the dollar, as well as all the non-correlated assets such as gold, silver, and cryptos and things of that nature. So, all right, silver likes go. I appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for tuning in with us. All right, so let me get into some things, man, and go from there. So today, outside, of course, Congress' last-minute effort before the holidays to rush something through, they appear to have settled on a more, I guess, feasible, more manageable amount, around the 900 billion mark, or around that ballpark there. And of course, I think it was McConnell who mentioned that, they're not looking to leave for the holidays until they get some type of deal, or I think leave for the weekend until they get some type of deal. And of course, the reason that they would even continue to talk about getting a deal is not necessarily because the American people directly need the deal. It's all the funds that's packaged up in the many, many different ways they've allocated those potential funds throughout the economy. And of course, what really is the most alarming is the fact that they're talking about possibly throwing in the stimulus checks, which of course was not a part of the initial bipartisan talks from a couple weeks ago, but it looks like they're looking to throw out $600. And I'm thinking, like, what can a $600 stimulus check do for anybody apart from, might pay a bill? More than likely, people are going to blow it. So just But they're not for the people, man. But anyway, enough rant. But what caught my attention today was today on Twitter, hashtag stimulus checks now was trending around the same time that people were starting to find out from the mainstream news that the next round of stimulus checks might only be about $600 or so. And so as a result of that, I was just thumbing through this thread here, and a lot of people were very, very upset. And so a lot of people are waking up to the fact that the game is rigged against them and that everything is being done in the name of helping the people is really about corporations and big businesses and all the executives and buyer sharebacks and all those things like that. But as I thumbed through here, I saw a lot of unhappy people. So here's something from earlier. It says, Congress can't be allowed to get away with this $600 crap. No way. This is wrong. You know it's wrong just as much as I do. People are going to die without a big relief package, $2,000 a month, retroactive. So amongst this trend here, for some reason, I think there's a couple far left, I think it was like a United Left and all types of parties out here promoting the $2,000 a month, including the retroactive pay, as a way of making things right, as if the funds just magically come out of the air and they're going to be beneficial in the long run. But here's a little, several people posted this little thing here, and it says, survival checks now, suspend rent, suspend mortgage payments, emergency M4A, $600 a week unemployment, $2,000 a month UBI, cancel student loan debt, cancel medical debt, cover small business payroll. So you got people out here basically wanting the government, pleading the government, needing the government for relief, only if they only knew what they were getting when this type of stuff is eventually rolled out. But it will not come in the way they want it to, because there's no strings attached for the people. The government will definitely attach strings as far as things that they expect for you to do for them before they give you anything, resembling this. But then once they get you hooked on it, you're trapped in the system, because the moment they talk about removing it, more people will be willing to go get that jab. So anyway, I thought this was interesting, man, because this is all throughout here. I think it reached number 2, if I'm not mistaken, in America, about people wanting to get their stimulus checks now. So $600, man. It's interesting to see that $1,200 to $600, and at what point will they make it even 300p? So very disturbing, but this is where we at, man. So people are mad. So the good thing is, through this anger and the realization that the system's rigged against them, perhaps they'll wake up and there might be some unrest / disrupting of the globalist agenda, because people might actually hit the streets a lot sooner than we would all hope that they do, because times are changing very fast. All right, so let's keep moving along. So a couple things here, and then I'll open up the phone lines. We'd love to hear from you guys. And so just to piggyback on what I was mentioning, the article right here. And so they're doing their best, but yet $600 stimulus checks. I'm not sure what that really accomplished out in here, but something worth talking about here. And of course, I had to pull this up here. So this was the initial bipartisan deal from a couple of weeks ago, of which, once again, billions and billions and billions going to all types of sectors of the economy. But yet on this right here was no allocation towards the people, other than supporting small businesses with the PPP program. And of course, those funds go through the bank. So that's what it is, man. All right. What else is going on out there? What did I miss today worth talking about? Of course, I got some news about the dollar, at a 2-year low, the Dixie rather. So, this is what it is, man. But I guess on the other note, as a result of Jerome Powell begging and pleading for relief, it's going to be good for those non-correlated assets, man. So that's, of course, that's the best place to be as they continue to try to create some form of inflation according to what they're looking for, because the monetary tools coming from the Federal Reserve is not really getting people to spend, because it's not reaching the people, unfortunately. So they're in need of fiscal stuff to reach the streets. Yeah, man. So what else is going on? It says, I saw this woman who's excited to get the vax. Yeah. And that's the thing. Okay, here's another thing. I tried to post to Twitter earlier some things that came across. And let me see if I can there's a video out there. Of course, if you look at all the mainstream media sources, they're cheering and championing doctors and physicians and nurses. So everybody right now every mainstream camera is pointing on people sitting there, center stage. You got medical professionals behind them, and cameras everywhere. You got the first person getting the jab. And I saw one video. Man, let me find it real quick. One video where the doctor or whoever he was. Here's another thing. At some point, you got to question: are these actually medical professionals just sitting there, standing there, or wherever it might be in these hospitals? Because as much as the medical profession believes in science and trusts the experts, there are more and more doctors that you will not hear about, that we will not hear about, that do not trust this current science technology stuff. But we will never hear that. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the people presented as professionals in the medical field are paid actors. And I had a video here. Let me see if I can find this video, because the video it was deliberate. Like, it was something where it was no way of not being able to see how it was a paid. Let me see if I can find this video. It would be very, let me see if I can find this video real quick, because it's something that I tried to share it, but Twitter is not being too friendly when it comes to sharing things. Give me 1 second here, because when you see it, you will be surprised, perhaps. Okay, here you go. So here's a video. Oh, actually, let me see if I can make it bigger. I'll put it on the screen here, and let me know if you see something that does not look right. All right, I'm going to put this on the screen here, and let me know if you see something here that doesn't look right. So I'm going to play it for a second. And this is like a 30-second clip of one of those highlighted sessions of a doctor getting a shot. But look at this right here. The needle goes in to his arm, a big needle, and look at this. Nothing comes out. So if I'm not mistaken, what that video showed me was that either they deliberately inject the needle into your arm and it stays there, or that needle that they were using for this, medical worker, it retracted like a Hollywood stunt needle. Look at this needle. It goes in, but the needle does not come out. So when I saw that, the first thing that came to mind was, that is a stunt. They are literally acting right now. So those individuals there, because the chick who is supposed to injects that guy's arm and the guy receiving it, they both know that ain't nothing in that damn vial. And so they're playing, they're acting. And so the question is, how much are they getting paid? And I also read a report on another doctor's page that was calling out all the medical professionals for, going along with this. She was saying that in her hospital, in her field, certain companies or entities were offering doctors and nurses extra pay to actually get the vaccine, and then time off as well. So to try to incentivize them two ways: you get more money, and you get some family vacation time if you go ahead and do it and let us record it. And so you factor all that in, you let me know what's really going on. Like, everything we're witnessing now, in my opinion, of course you got those real doctors, but on the average, a lot of propaganda is, you have a black doctor giving a black nurse or some type of shot, using a race card, making it look like, all races, shapes, and sizes are excited to go ahead and get that jab. Take of it what you will, my friends. Michael Wood says, all these influential people are not getting the real vax. No doubt. Silverlight Ghost says, smoke and mirrors. Yeah, man. So that video, man, I would encourage you guys, if you haven't, check that out, because that was there's a short little clip, but the needle goes in and the needle does not come out. And it's like, okay, what happened to the needle? Playing people for a sucker, man. All right, it looked like Class Joe's jab TKO. Same with Obama drinking Flint water. Photoshop miracle. Yeah, Photoshop miracle, or it was, but if it's a real injection, why would you even go through that unless you're trying to prove something or fake something? But anyway, let's keep it moving, man. So what else I got going on here? So let me actually get to some other articles here, which just further highlights the desperate nature that our economy is in. And so for those that are not, more articles are posted on the Rethinking a Dollar page. And so here's an article here, which is worth, shining light on a little bit, because it says Federal Reserve Chair urges more stimulus from Congress ASAP. And so if anybody had a chance to actually listen to the whole spiel, he's basically jawboning the markets, giving a heads up as to what's coming, more of the same. So ultimately, to summarize it, Nothing's changed. They're going to continue to buy everything, probably even longer. And he talked about the need to continue to buy bonds and everything else until the economy recovers. And so to me and to us, we all know that there'll be no recovery in the way that they would like to sell it to the American people. So ultimately what it means is that they're really going to begin experimenting by expanding their balance sheet and probably adding more assets to their purchasing protocol, which will probably end up being equities. Once Janet Yellen gets in, if she does, they're going to do some collaborations on the MMT programs, and the toolkit will be further elaborated upon because they're going to combine fiscal and monetary, and then that right there will give us. They're going to create some new angles on how to further provide liquidity into the banking sector to prop them up as January rolls around and all the devastation that's due to fully hits. But then also, they can't continue to pump funds into crumbling markets ultimately without throwing some crumbs at the American public. So that's why that allowance situation will definitely be in full bloom by that time. Solo says, Mike Rickendall says, saw the Tulsi and Thomas Massie bipartisan bill to remove the Patriot Act. Yeah. So let me, so that's, yeah, so I'll put that as well. So, and this is interesting. So a bipartisan bill introduced to repeal the unconstitutional Patriot Act. And, here's the thing. It sounds good, but it's not going to make it anywhere. And so the Patriot Act is literally 19 years old. And of course, the Patriot Act basically gave the government the right to build all those, the NSA, the CEI, all the cyber stuff, all the surveillance and tracking stuff. You better believe they're not going to reel that stuff in. That stuff is needed to continue so that they can add on top of it with all the other stuff they're doing, especially Operation Warp Speed and things of that nature. So it's not going, I wouldn't hold my breath on that at all. But give you an idea what's going on here, there's like 6 tenets to this whole bill that we'll see. So it says repeal. So it's called, what they're looking to do is Protect Our Civil Liberties Act. That's what the act is called. And it's to repeal the Patriot Act, which permitted metaphone data to collection, repeal the FISA Amendments Act, make retaliation against whistleblowers inside the intelligence community illegal. So basically the Eric Snowdens of the world. So more people will be able to snitch on the government. That's not happening. It says ensure that the probable cause warrants are issued in all cases of government surveillance of Americans, prohibit government backdoors designed to end run encryption and other privacy measures. So they're talking about trying to end run encryption, but basically allow people to have encryption, which of course that's a no-no because that right there plays right into the whole cryptocurrency sector and privacy and things of that nature. So that won't happen. It says mandate the Government Accountability Office annually monitor all surveillance programs for compliance. So having another agency monitor agency for compliance, it's not happening. So I wouldn't hold my breath on that one, not to say the least. And then what else here? We got another one to share here. Then I'll stop ranting and open up the phone line. So it said the dollar is on pace for its worst fourth quarter performance in 17 years. And so I never follow the trade weighted dollar through the Dixie, because to me, it's one of a basket of other currencies that are all fluctuating based upon policies, as well as, central banks now in the race towards the bottom with their currency. So I don't really follow it much because I don't look at this dollar in the way it's called dollar as something that the average person outside of just the cost of our living expenses continue to go up regardless, because the purchasing power will never appreciate in an actual Federal Reserve note. So unless it's impacting the direct international markets, such as in oil and other commodities, I really don't pay much attention to it. But when you have Powell's response today putting more pressure on the trade-weighted dollar, that lets us know that the dollar's in for a nice little run. But I think in the long run, as the other currencies that is weighted up against experience problems faster, because all their problems are denominated in dollars. All the debts that's about to be reneged upon and defaulted on in 2021 are priced in dollars. So as Jerome Powell mentioned, the swap line of being able to, work with other central banks to give them Federal Reserve notes will definitely strengthen the Federal Reserve note a little bit. So I foresee this thing going back up eventually because, as they always say, it's the cleanest shirt in the basket of dirty laundry. So that's what's going on, man. But then again, I can't not talk about this. And so it looks like as of today, there is a little bit of a run going on right now. And of course, there's going to be a correction, but regardless of where you stand, if you're for it or against it, it looks like Bitcoin is not going to wait for you. It's not going to It's not going to allow you, give you time to catch up if you are not already exposed to it in some capacity. So, but then we got Ethereum and everything else running as well. So, how high will it go? We will see. But I would imagine by this weekend, we're going to see if things continue, which is basically, Bitcoin is exposing the lack of confidence and trust and faith in the current monetary structure. And so you have all these institutions, all these individuals now being introduced to a way of a backdoor out of the Federal Reserve note, as well as all the other world currencies, is basically becoming the preferred choice of wealth preservation, of course, along with metals and things of that nature and other assets. But I was watching an interview today with Robert Kiyosaki and Saif, the guy who wrote the Bitcoin standard, and him and Robert Kiyosaki was going back and forth, and Robert Kiyosaki was trying to play the tough guy, saying, "Why would I do Bitcoin? Why would I do Bitcoin?" And at the end of the day, the easiest answer that Saif if I'm pronouncing his last name correct, the guy that wrote Bitcoin standard, is basically saying that it's the best way of remittance of payments, relatively speaking, in a quick fashion, without ever having to really leave your house or leave your phone. It can be done extremely quick. And so you can send payments across the world and it get there within a short amount of time, and it not have to go to any third party institutions, which that in of itself is revolutionary in of itself. So that alone is one way that a lot of people are taking advantage of this technology. So amongst everything else. So not here to pump it, but just let you know what's happening for those that don't pay attention. But anyway, man, what it says, Rolf says, never get greedy chasing everything. Very true. Very true. And that's the thing, man. Let me actually pull up the metal. So I don't want to not include, the ultimate form of wealth, which happens to be in the most undervalued asset of all time. I'm going to pull something up here. Let me see here. Here's something that should be definitely exciting for the YouTube community. And so if you are on Instagram, I would encourage you to make sure you follow the RTD Instagram, because over there I tend to speak a little bit freer with my thoughts or whatnot. But here is a interesting graph here, and this is from Tavi Costa, who I've had on the show before. But ultimately, this is something that should put a smile on your face for all my weight people out there. And so this visual aid here represents the silver to paper currency ratio. So ultimately, all the currency, I'm assuming, might be in dollar terms, especially because it's priced in dollar terms in comparison to the amount of metal, of silver out there. And if he went back to, so this graph here goes back to the 1980 run where it was $50 silver or so. And I'm not sure if it's adjusted for inflation, but at that time, it was 0.01% of paper in circulation to the amount of gold, which was relatively high. We know that the current money supply at that time was very small. And that's, what the portion, the ratio of silver to paper was 0.01. So what he's saying now is we're way down here where it's 0.0012, which means that at some point when things do actually correct, we have a lot more room to go to surpass the prior high in regards to the amount of paper in circulation. And then you factor in adjust for inflation and whatnot. The result of this, if it just got above 0.01%, would probably put us at a price at several $1,000s at the very minimum. And so this is basically mentioned that the cheapest metal on earth right now in relation to the amount of paper, historically speaking, is silver. And so when this thing gives, for all my silver lovers out there, those that get your weight up heavily, you will be extremely pleased with the nominal price. But then once again, like I always say, at that point, the current environment we will be in will not be something where you can actually probably enjoy it as the way that you probably could now or years ago. And then the reason I want to highlight that is because as we're witnessing now with the economy contracting. There's going to be food supply issues. The supply chain is breaking down. I saw something about, soybeans have been snatched off the market by China to where there's going to be a shortage there. Then you factor in the current style of employment is shifting because businesses will continue to be forced to close because of regulations and all this health stuff. And so once again, like the question is, what will you be able to buy, or what will you want to buy to enjoy outside of just probably spending all those gains on mere necessity and survival, depending on where we at that point. So America's DeVille says Mike got more viewers than CNN. Yeah, man, I wish. YouTube, I watched over the last year as YouTube has throttled everything. Like having, I think about 30,000 subscribers, less than a tenth. So maybe 6 or 7% of the total people who hit subscribe are actually get notified. So that's just goes to show you how suppressed, channels that talk about things that are not user friendly are at this current point. Let me see. It says you can convert Bitcoin to silver. SD Bullion says you can pay with precious metals. Yeah, there's a lot of companies out there who now can have you convert metals to gold. Ezekiel 7:19. Let me see. I'll definitely check it out. I got a feeling that it has something to do with people dumping their gold in the street because we had let me see, 7:19. Let me pop this open real quick just to verify that. Ezekiel 7 times. Yeah. So yeah, I knew that one because a lot of people mention that. And of course, when I mention the price of metals or price of all these other assets, it's not in a form of like, I guess, the love of money or worshiping money. When it comes to rethinking the dollar, the primary purpose in this channel a long time ago when I started was to bring to the forefront the need for people to educate themselves on monetary history and how it relates to their financial dealings on a day-to-day basis. Because the world, especially here in the U.S., we've been taught and told that if we do these certain steps, that we'll be good come retirement, which is go to school, get a good job, buy assets that appreciate, such as a house over time. You'll have equity in the house. Set aside in your retirement, your 401k allocated towards 60% bonds, 40% stocks, or vice versa, depending where you're at. Take trips, get credit cards, buy toys, and then you retire. Like, that concept there was introduced to my grandparents, called the American Dream. And we're in a different world. And that world we're in now resembles nothing like it was during the industrial age when people could actually work and produce. Because right now in this country, we produce nothing, but we consume everything, and that's changing. So you need to be able to preserve your energy in the meantime. But yet, once again, you can't take it with you when you pass. So there's a time of enjoyment, but yet also realizing it's also to further expand God's kingdom. So those are all things to consider. So of course, if you knew your date and time you were going to pass, I would imagine you would definitely make sure you spend or enjoy and give and do everything that you have planned to do in your heart if you knew it. But it's hard to really impact the world if you're broke or don't have anything. So, but I feel you that. It says Ezekiel 7:19, they will throw their silver into the streets and their gold will be like refused. Their silver and their gold will not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. This will not satisfy their souls nor fill their stomachs because it became their stumbling block of iniquity. No doubt. Appreciate you for sharing that, my friend. So in the meantime, I say a lot of people say, hey, well, since it won't save you, then I'll take it off your hands and I'll put it to good use. Oh man, good stuff. All right. S400 says, dollar, you can take it with you. See the mummies in Egypt, they took it with them. Yeah, you could put it in your casket, in your tomb and all that stuff like that, but what good is it? And so this got me reflecting today. So I'm gonna stop ranting in a minute, but so a part of this week's activities for myself is, laying to rest a loved one. And so trying to do all the preparations, the funeral, the burial. So I've been really engaged trying to, basically get my loved one across the finish line. And so one thing is always, whenever you're approached or confronted with death, it makes you just question exactly what is all this for, especially in this current environment where we're being told what we can and can't do. And the three S's came to my mind that we've been conditioned to, I guess, spend a lot of time, energy on trying to accomplish or do in this life, and it's our sustenance. Basically, you work to provide to take care of everything, whatever, and then you get was the second one I had, your sustenance, your drawing a blank. It'll come to me, but it's just three S's that really made me think about, like, man, is this there always has to be more than just the things that we have been told and taught. And that's why I think this current environment now really gives people time to reflect and think on what's really important to you. And of course, as I'm, with the whole Bitcoin and gold, it's just stuff at the end of the day that provides opportunities if you have it. All right, so I'm tired of ranting. Let me open up the phone lines, man, and we can talk a little bit. I apologize for all the ranting. Got a couple more articles I can touch on, but let's keep it sweet and simple. Let me hear from you guys. What else is out there? Oh, phone lines are open. Give me a call. I got some stuff I want to bring up as well. And I think, I'm not sure, someone shared that with me earlier, I think. But here is something that's alarming, which to me shows how much of a concerted effort that it is by law enforcement, judges, and all those people who are on the take and those who are compromised. We have in California, says California sheriff refusing to comply with the order to release inmates due to this current situation. And so according to the information here, 1,800 or so inmates, or 50% of people with serious, criminal backgrounds, like not just the ordinary traffic ticket type of situation. We talk about murderers, robbers, and you name it. They're trying to release in California. And I'm thinking, like, what better way to get more people out there committing crime and causing destruction other than to release the people who are locked up for doing those things in the first place? But yet, literally right now, stuff like this lets me know how bad certain states are looking to really destroy their economy, as well as just the landscape of their own states in this current environment by using this health scare. This health scare is going to be used for every single issue we face. And it's all done in your own betterment to protect you from the current environment we're in. So stay at home, don't breathe too deep, and don't gather with your neighbors. We don't want you to smile or have fun. But anyway, man, I thought I would share that because that's something that was very alarming. But California, man, all my people in Cali, they trying to do y'all in out there, man. Now I see why I think Elon Musk is leaving and a couple other billionaires are leaving. All right, so let's keep it moving. See here. So let me see. I see some scripture out there in the chat. Appreciate it. All right, let me get to some of these calls here. I've been doing too much ranting. Forgive me. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, this is Casey from Fort Worth, Texas.
Casey.
And just when you talked about the thing in California where they let the prisoner out.
Yeah, first, go ahead, man. What's your thoughts on that?
It reminded me of how right before the invasion of Iraq, Saddam let all of his prisoners out just to let chaos run through the streets. And I think they're gearing up. They're getting ready for something big.
Yeah.
So they're pretty crazy.
Yeah. So think about this. So thanks for bringing that to our attention. So if you let 50% of the prison inmate go, and they go out there, clearly they're not going out there to get jobs and to contribute to society. They're going to do more times 10, because some of them guys should not even be out, period. They probably, I'm assuming you might have some people who have 10 years, 15, 20, maybe even life in that pact. But think about that. That gives the governor a reason to call in some help, National Guard help or whatever type of help, saying things are getting out of hand. We need boots on the ground type of thing. So that could be a deliberate setup to literally get intervention in the state to further escalate the plan. You know what I'm saying? So, part of a greater agenda, man.
Deep. And and I seen somebody had a verse about people throwing gold and silver in the streets. I kind of wanted to comment on that.
Go ahead, feel free.
That it talks about the day of the Lord. The day of the Lord happens after the rapture. So, I just wanted to point out that I didn't kind of want to discourage anybody to not invest in gold and silver if that's not reading that verse. I know that it happens after the day of the Lord, or it happens that verse is talking about the day of the Lord, talking about the ungodly and all the unbelievers. Yeah, definitely. But anyways,
appreciate you, my man. Thanks for calling and sharing your thoughts.
No problem, man.
All right. Yeah, and then also just you think about just that one particular scripture there. You have to take the entire the entirety of it in context, and imagine the type of environment we will be in at that point when that does happen. So I am confident that there will be a time where people will literally, there'll be no need for metals or whatnot, because the environment around you will be so bad that you won't be looking to do nothing with it, because your life will be literally on the line. That's the type of environment that will be, to where you can't buy yourself out of that. And that'll be where there'll be unnatural events happening in the atmosphere and the earth, type of events, to where there'll be nowhere to run. So that's we definitely have some time, in my opinion, before we get to stuff like that. So yeah, but I understand why people mention that, because it can sound like sometimes that there's too much emphasis on material things, or gold, silver, or whatever, money or whatever it might be. So I can understand that. All right, so I missed some more calls. Give me a call. Let's talk a little bit. So Low Blood Pressure said, I was never throw my silver. You'll be surprised. So, and I say never say never. You'll be surprised at the things that you might do when you're confronted with something that you would have never have imagined came or coming your way. So, fellow caller, which name are you calling from?
Hi, Mike. It's Pete in the Hunger Games District 2.
Pete, how you doing, my friend?
Oh, any better, and I couldn't stand it. How are you doing?
I'm not bad, my friend. Not bad at all. What's going on with you?
It seems like you're a little bit down.
Not necessarily down. I'm dealing with, I'm having, a funeral I'm putting together for a loved one. But other than that, I'm feeling relatively cheerful. But go ahead, feel free.
You know what the great thing about funerals?
What's that?
I've been to a lot of them.
Yeah.
They make us focus on what's important.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, I agree.
And I think that's why we have them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I want to say one thing, though.
Go ahead.
I'll go deep tonight.
Okay.
Because the gold, the Bitcoin, the stocks, all this stuff is just focusing on what they are doing. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How can we have the most positive impact on our lives, regardless of what's going on?
Creating an environment that you enjoy, is self-sustainable, and not relying upon the current system and infrastructure will be the best way to get the most out of your life, which is easier for some and harder for others.
How do we go about doing that?
That is a lifelong question that we all long for. I mean, there's
actually, I think it's simpler than you think.
Go ahead, give it to us.
If we divert a little less of our attention on focusing on what they are doing, and focusing on what we could do better and improve, regardless of what happens, we can improve.
Oh yeah, definitely. So that's the idea that small steps add up at the end of the day. So it's incremental change makes a big difference down the line type of approach. Yeah.
And I do want to push back on one thing for you, is that I have been incarcerated. I detest the idea that every one of us who have been incarcerated is a bad person forever, should never be let out, should be never let to have a second chance.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
My incarceration was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. And what I've accomplished since then is unfathomable because of my experience.
Right. Oh, yeah, definitely. So, yeah. So by no means did I mean to insinuate that everyone locked up is, from, a bad past, or, there's a lot of innocent people in jail. And so we have a very crooked system. Go ahead.
I wasn't innocent. I was guilty of why I was there.
Yeah.
But and I was with a lot of people who were there for no reason. It wasn't me, but it was, but that mentality is, we're the least free country on earth with the highest percentage of our population incarcerated or in a probationary program than anywhere else on the world, including Russia and China. That system doesn't work.
Yeah.
It has not worked forever.
Yeah.
these people are still people too.
Yeah, I agree, man. I do agree. And so the concern with the judge deciding to tell the sheriff to let go half of his inmate population because of this current health situation, to me, doesn't spell that they're concerned with the inmates' health, because they could be some of the healthiest individuals in there overall, but it's the agenda of getting them out so that they can wreak havoc more than likely, because a lot of people, I assume, will not just, try to not go back, because the tendency is if you're in there for the wrong reasons, they're not re-educated or taught how to do better outside the system. Statistically, they always end up going back sometimes.
Well, I understand that concern.
Yeah.
And, but at the same time, though, it's like, should we live our life based on fear and anger, or should we live our life seeking wisdom?
You said seeking wisdom?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, definitely seeking wisdom. Seeking wisdom.
And I think the first thing I ever asked you is that, do we have access to honest information?
We do.
I think it's few and far between.
Yeah, well, but
I mean,
go ahead.
Even some of the sources of information that we want to believe in or we want to trust, hey, guess what? The election's not getting overturned.
Yeah.
We have to always question our sources of information.
Yeah.
We have to hold them accountable, and we have to seek wisdom.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree with that one.
We should start turning the mirror on ourselves.
Yeah, looking in the mirror. Yeah, we would be surprised. That's in order to make real change, it has to start with the individual. When you look in the mirror, type of thing. So, yeah, man. Pete, I appreciate you, my man.
I appreciate you.
Always shooting it straight. Thank you, sir.
Focus on education, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And the ultimate wisdom, for me personally, starts within the BIBLE from a much more, a long-term approach, as opposed to the natural circumstances that I can't control anyway. Majority of them I can't control, but I can control my thoughts and my actions as a result of that. So, yeah, I feel you, man.
Well, the beginning of all wisdom and knowledge is trust in the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where it's at, man. That is where it's at. Pete, I appreciate you, man. You have a good one, boss.
Bye.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Good stuff. It's always good to hear from Pete from Colorado, man. Always dropping some nuggets on there for us. Appreciate you. All right, let's talk, man. What else is going on here? What else out there is of concern or exciting? So here's another thing. Outside of the nominal gains in the crypto sector, as well as, the metals or whatever it might be, or, the real estate prices, depending on where you're at, continue to go up. What else is out there is exciting you guys? I'm curious to find out, because in the midst of a day of hustle and bustle, trying to get things situated, you can get caught up in the survival aspect of life and not really focus on the things that really excite you, like going back to the days where you were a kid and you got excited. Like, I remember, of course, everybody has those moments where you look for something, you look forward to something so much you can't sleep the night before. When's the last time you guys had that type of feeling, and about what? I'm curious to find out. Let me know in the chat or give me a call. I don't always focus on the reality of this distorted world we're in. We can smile some. So Slice Keeper says BTC is over 22K. So a lot of people are excited about the idea that your crypto space is rising. And so here's the thing. For those that are interested in the crypto sector, at what point do you look to get out? Or how will you get out when it comes to when it hits that magic number? Is there a number to you? Of course, everybody's situation is different. Is there a number that you look to get out? Or how will you look to get out? Rodney says, my AR-15 is barreled in 5.56, but can run 2.23. Okay, we got some gun lovers out there. Waiting on my 600. Oh, Jim Diggs. Yeah, okay, so here's the thing. For those coming in late. So once again, people, don't, it's just a number until you get it in your hands. But right now, it's good to say that they won't be able to get their act together to actually get it in your hands. So outside of using this type of talk to jawbone the markets, because as of today, I think the S&P 500 hit an all-time high. I'm not even sure where the dollar's at, but we're gonna see a lot more headlines like this with all types of numbers thrown out there. But the chance of you actually getting it and it actually doing you much good is probably slim. So I don't think they're gonna pull this off. So once again, if they actually pull this off and get some funds in your pockets, yeah, I'm definitely I'm gonna get rid of it quick. Mine is gone before I get it, type of thing. So because like I always say, in the days ahead, I anticipate there being more, because there has to be more in order for this ship to continue to float. And then on top of that, when it comes to the Dixie, the dollar index reaches its lowest in 2 years. It's going to continue to go down until it doesn't. Like I'm of the believer that, like, for example, major currency returns against the U.S. dollar in 2020, and so the spot returns. So we got the Swiss franc, we got the euro, we got the Aussie dollar, we got the Taiwan dollar, we got the Corona, not the Corona, yeah. We got the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, we got the British pound, Canadian dollar. So as of now, there's a lot of countries that are they're getting great returns and weighted against the dollar, whereas the Mexican and Brazilian real and the South African rand are not doing too good. But the tide will turn, and when the tide turns for these currencies, you better believe it's going to be the Dixie going the other direction, and all the other currencies, going in a tank. So give it time, because there's going to be a lot more units of destruction coming that will continue to erode purchasing power. So I was listening to a commentator mention that based upon the current expansion of the M2 supply this year, roughly 25% of the current monetary base was created just within the last 9 months as a result of the correction in March. And based upon all the things that's transpiring now with business closures, metropolitan areas shutting down, unemployment, all the defaults, the foreclosures, the bankruptcies, all that stuff it's been pushed down the road, and it's grown massively. So there's a lot of bubbles that are popping right now that are not being told about, and they haven't let them actually reach the market yet, because there's been a lot of propping up in the banking sector with the too big to fail banks basically lying on their balance sheets and whatnot, and their revenue reports and whatnot, not exposing or sharing the data of the losses they're taking. So when that comes around in the beginning of the year, perhaps, and some truth does leak out, they're going to have to definitely create another 25% of the current monetary base, just probably within the first quarter of 2021. So that's going to be another 25% or so. And all that equates to just less purchasing power throughout time. So it'll be that $1 you need for whatever, plus the additional monetary units on top of that, i.e. inflation. So I think, and some people believe that 2021 will be the time where we see obvious inflation in consumer goods, but it might not necessarily be because of the monetary base, as opposed to the supply of goods and services that might be scarce if there is shortages in the food chain and all the other things. Because once again, I'm still noticing Walmart shelves are not overflowing with all types of made in China goods. So we could run into a position where the prices will go up because there will be a limited supply of overall goods. Supply and demand. The supply will increase, but the demand of goods will not. Hello, caller. Which name are you calling from?
Mike, Tony from Oakland. How
TB.
you doing, brother?
Doing good, my friend. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. I just want to call to let everybody know that there won't be a stimulus of $600.
Okay.
I was watching the Senate today, and and one of the guys that Bernie Sanders, he said that he was looking for like
$1,200 to $2,000.
No, he was looking for $2,400.
Really?
For a family of four.
Oh, I didn't see that part. Okay, and that's not happening.
Yeah, he was looking for $2,400, and when they originally came out with the bill, it's like for 3.2.
Yeah,
which made it $1,200. And now the Republicans throw them chump change with the 908 or 906. And he said, and that's not even the case. He said the real case is they're drawing that money back that they had out there, and then adding $300 million to it. So that made it the 9. He's like, they ain't giving us anything to work with. So that bill will not be passed. So where did we confirm it, man? Because
when you talk about Bernie Sanders here, what I came across was this article. I got it on the screen now, but he was talking about a minimum of the 1,200 is not brought to the vote. So I think this might be a little older, but anyway. So yeah, so I'm misinformed.
And he just reiterated that claim that 1,200 was the 3.4 that's already been passed, or 3.2 that's already been passed by the House, and just waiting on the Senate to approve it. But they don't have another session. They got a session tomorrow, and then they're on vacation. So you aren't going to get anything resolved in that shorter time unless they do a phone vote. Yeah. Which I doubt it. They let us go 9 months already. What makes you think they're going to wait till give us a Christmas present?
Right. But yeah, but watch it. But they get paid 6 figures, no problems. They get a lot of time off. That's a hell of a job, ain't it?
Oh, that being in government, period. I mean, those people have been paid. The whole shutdown, they've been paid through this whole 9 months.
Yeah.
That other people aren't working. This is crazy.
Yeah.
But what we're fighting is deflation, and eventually it's going to turn around, and they ain't going to be able to fight the inflation that's coming behind it.
Yeah. Very true.
That's my point. And I'm like Pete, man. They just jawbone it. And we just need to not pay them any attention and just go on about our business.
Yeah, I understand, man. Live your life as best you can. That's where, it's, man, just as I watch more about the things happening around us, I think Ireland, I put an article up about Ireland has jumped on board with the certification passes needed. And so all these countries around us will have it first. And then they're going to say, you can't leave the USA unless you get it here to be able to go there. And because, so it's just seeing all that stuff. It doesn't really put a smile on my face because I like to travel, Tone. I'm sure you do too, man. And
I was reading that the China embassy here in the U.S. consulate said that if the Chinese wanted to travel back to China, that they had to get that passport in order to get back in China.
So I wonder that passport, but from which pharmaceutical company? Are they allowed to get the Moderna or Pfizer one, or do they have to get the Chinese version or the Sputnik 5 or what? Because if it's okay to get the American made vaccines, that lets me know that they are definitely syncing up to have a uniform vaccine approval to where it's okay to get other people's vaccines as long as you got the certificate type of thing.
I got news for you, bro.
Yeah.
They've been working on this since 2010 together.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. and
so there is no big I or little you, it's us.
Yeah. And it makes it a lot smoother to usher in, China and the One Belt, One Road, and all the things they already have planned a lot smoother because we're distracted by the world events and the health situation and the oppressive governments to where the infrastructure for the next world order has already been underway, man. So it's already up and running. We just don't see it, get a chance to actually hear about it much.
Well, Mike, and I want to push back a little bit.
Go ahead. Feel free.
I'm in your camp when it comes to this sort of thing about the vaccine and things like that. But I'm more of the camp that I want to see the test results. I want to know what's in the vaccine itself. I'm not necessarily afraid of taking it. But, if you do a warp speed and then tell me I got to have it, whoa, slow your roll. Let's walk this back a little bit and find out where it came from and what animals died from it.
Yeah. Now, how about this? Just the mere fact that they've introduced a new method with science and technology merged together, and they're doing something with your mRNA and all the details that goes into your body. They're recreating and doing some things to make your DNA and all that other stuff. So is that something that would be of interest, period, whether or not you know what's in it?
I'm doing a little research. I can't guarantee for sure, but what I can read from it is that these shots does something to the protein in your body in order to fight off cancerous and those kind of diseases that are in inside the body. But I'm doing a little bit more research because I don't want to put it out there as it resolves everything. Yeah. But it's looking like that they're trying to do a medical advancement in therapeutics to me. Yeah. But I'm still about I'm not taking that shot until I get more evidence. Yeah, and so I just sit at home. Yeah, and
another thing is even if you were to get it, because of the unknowns and uncertainties, it's definitely not going to be a one and done, and so it's going to be a reoccurring thing yearly, probably more than likely, and then every year they have to actually change probably the mechanics of the vaccine because of the mutation of the virus if that happens, and And so all those things that they built it for to protect us from will definitely change. So they're going to change the ingredients and the methods without actually having to tell you what's in it, because it's going to become a normal thing down the line. So once you get the first one, it's not going to be like that's one and done. So, and that second, third, fourth one, ain't no telling what the hell that thing will be at that point.
Well, you know, I look at it like this: Mother Earth first me, and Mother Earth's going to get me.
Yeah.
So anything in between there, I don't even care about, man. I'm not tripping.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get on your program though. If I see a way out.
All right, man. Well, keep me posted, man. Shoot me an email there. I appreciate the emails too, man.
Email on it. I'll let you look at it.
Yeah.
And the email I'll shoot you it's a long one, man. But look at the last paragraph, last two paragraphs in it. But
Okay.
I'll shoot it to you. You can tell.
Back. Appreciate you, my man.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
Keep your head up.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So let me. So here, TB did send me something earlier. Let me pop this on the screen here so you guys can see it, because it plays into more. I didn't get a chance to look at it earlier, but it plays into something that seems to not be getting much airplay on the airways as far as the amount of problems that could have been created. And so let me scroll up to the top. So this is in regards to the, is this the right one? Let me see here. This is, nope. Let me find it. Okay. So TB called in the other day, mentioned about the hack. And so it says, of course, we know the Treasury was hacked and a lot of other institutions. So it says the hack may have hit 18,000 institutions. So once again, the source of the hack, says Russia linked hack. Of course, Russia is a bad guy. I'm not sure. So it looks like Russia may not have anything else to do or concern themselves with on that side of the planet other than to continue to hack in and interfere with elections on this side of the planet, if you want to believe that. But I personally, the U.S. always needs a boogeyman or a bad guy. And so let me see. It says, scroll down to the last two. It says, be smart, as stunning as hack's appearance success may be, the effort behind it is prior, of course, and then it has espionage. What you got here? So, Tone, let me know what you're referring to, the last two paragraphs. Read the rest of Zach's story. So just the fact, 18,000 institutions. Like, that's a lot of data stolen, hacked, or being held as hostage. And the question is, what do they want in return? They probably want some Monero. A privacy coin or something like that. They don't tell it. But anyway, man, appreciate that, Tone. I'll look into it after we get off air. What else you got going on, man? Let me a couple more phone calls if need be, and then we'll get ready to dial back. Give me a call. Let's talk. What else is happening out there? How do you get in your email passing? How do you get in your email passing porn? I don't know. The Vax is the one I am going to see. The Vax. Okay, send it to me, my friend. Doctors are no longer trained to cure you, but to keep you sick as their piggy bank. Yeah, the medical industry itself, like just the fact they call it health care. It has nothing to do with health, caring about your health. You're already sick when they start giving you more pharmaceutical stuff and all that other crap. But here's another thing. You know how whenever you watch the pharmaceutical commercials, when it has, pills or whatever, at the very end, they're required to tell you, I think by law, all the possible side effects. And of course, they speed read through that quick. May cause this, and they throw out 6 or 7 things where you're like, well, damn, like you don't know which one your body might respond to. So it might be death, cancer, heart, lung, heartburn, diarrhea. So all those things they throw out there, we will not hear any of those in any of the commercials that are thrown out there, because I would assume that legally you have to put out there the things that might occur as a result of taking something foreign to your body. And so until there's a full study done by unless there's a true study done by a true anti-vaxxer style institution or medical doctor that despises the pharmaceutical sector and comes out with all the ingredients and does some studying as to what it does, there'll be no point in really talking any further about the idea of even considering doing it, because there is guaranteed side effects and adverse reactions to your body because it's foreign. And so everybody will respond differently, but your body will respond, whether it's in a way that they want it to respond or in a way that could be harmful to you. The whole point in the vax is to get a response, whether it be to save you from something or just the fact you're talking about creating proteins and all that medical jargon in your body lets me know that it's doing some altering of who you are as a person. And I personally, I would rather stick with the hydrochloroquine, ivermectin, and some vitamin C, D, E, zinc, and all that other stuff, and take my chances if it came down to that, than to be introduced to something that will cause a genetic defects down the line. 5G microwave to manipulate nanobots in the vax and mind control. People will have all kinds of reactions to keep Big Pharma going strong and to make the few rich, no doubt. And so just the nanotechnology, the nanobots. And so even the little vials we're seeing on TV, you see, like I showed you guys earlier, for those that came in late, let me put this on the screen here. And so I'll play it again for those that came in late, but it's a 23-second clip of a advertisement, which looks like a fake medical. So that the nurse sticks the needle into his arm. So watch this. Look how long that needle is right there. Let me see if I can zoom in. Look how long, look how big and wide that needle is. Now, let me know. I've never seen a white needle that long. So I'm sure you guys can see it right there. So look at that needle right here. Nice big needle. Let me zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see it. That's a nice long needle. So everybody see that, right? Now watch this needle. She sticks it into his arm. Bam. Now watch that. Where'd that needle go? Anybody see that needle? So is that like a trick needle, a Hollywood stunt needle, or what? But we see it go in. Let me see here. Oops. So we see that white needle go into the arm. Bam. But it doesn't come out. So you have a lot of paid actors on the scene right now, perpetrating as being medical professionals, taking a fake retractable needle into their arm, and you got people in the background clapping. Yeah. Don't be fooled, people. Don't be fooled. So I'll put this, if you guys are copy, I'll put this in the chat if you guys want to follow it. So this is just a clip. And so just to show you, somebody was recording. Somebody was recording their TV when this happened. So this is actually a live broadcasted show. So this is somebody that's recording their TV. So this is a real event that transpired somewhere on this planet. So yeah, think of it what you will, people, but that's what's going on. So a lot of the people out there are probably actors. So this is not a false flag. This is you say a false flag or a fake advertisement. So whenever you see people clapping and excited and people being quoted, and the mainstream media, all the social media platforms will make sure they'll elevate and promote everything that's pro-vax and pro-jabs from anybody labeled as an expert or professional. And anything that's anti will be pulled. Just like I put up earlier on the YouTube page, on the community page, about how Twitter will be pulling down anything that's considered misleading, anything misleading or contradicting what they want you to know, they're going to pull it down. So you have no way of getting real information from any of the sources that were considered even partially credible, because all medical professionals have been compromised. Everybody's been compromised and hijacked. So here's the little thing from Twitter. Twitter to remove harmful and misleading or false information on vaccinations. So you won't be able to share your mind anymore. Ireland's health minister confirms plans for COVID vax certificates and certificates suggest people who refuse jab could face restrictions. So these are all sources that are not user-friendly for these individuals. But anyway, people, enough rant on my part. I appreciate everybody for hanging out with me. If you've enjoyed the back and forth and enjoyed interacting with the community via the chat, don't be afraid to hit that thumbs up button. Show your love for the channel. And also for those that are new to the channel, trying to add more information over at the blog. So feel free to go to Rethinking a Dollar. Throughout the day, there's all types of crypto news. There's metal news here. Of course, got the ticker up here. So trying to make it a one-stop shop for all the information you need from both mainstream and alternative media, so you guys can have some choices. And also, the Get Your Weight Up coin is still available for those that are interested. So if you're looking for a collector's piece, the Get Your Weight Up coin can definitely help you. So other than that, people, be blessed, be safe. Also, I want to make sure I invite everybody that's on Discord to go to the Discord community page. So beneath me in the social medias tab, everywhere you can find Rethinking a Dollar. Just in case YouTube is gone, I'll be over here on all these sites over here. So definitely connect with the community, and the Discord group is growing. So definitely get in there and share articles. So if you got articles you want to share throughout the day, drop in the link and people will see it directly. So anyway, that's all she wrote. I appreciate you for hanging out with me, and see you guys tomorrow, Lord willing. Peace. Hey there, sorry for this interruption, but I wanted to bring something to your attention. If you've been enjoying this live stream, why don't you partner with me and be a support to the channel via Patreon membership for just a minimum of $5 a month. All you have to do is scroll down beneath this video here, click the Patreon link, then consider donating as little as $5 a month toward the channel. A little bit of crumbs can go a long way, and I appreciate your support. Now, let's get back to this live stream.